There's one photo the NBA keeps taking, a superstar in a brand new suit. A smiling general manager beside him, a jersey stretched between them, camera flashes, applause, headlines calling it the start of a new era. Then comes the number. $200 million, sometimes 300. It looks like the happiest day in a franchise's future. But if you check that exact same photo 3 or 4 years later, the player is often gone. The contract is called untradeable. The team is stuck, and the executive who approved the deal may not even have a job anymore. Here's the weird part. This doesn't happen because NBA front offices are bad at their jobs. It happens because they're following the rules. The NBA has created a system where the smartest decision in the moment can quietly become the worst decision a franchise makes for the next 5 years. And every general manager knows it. So why do they keep signing these contracts anyway? By the end of this video, you'll understand why the NBA is almost designed to make teams overpay their biggest stars, and why escaping the trap is far harder than it looks. Part 1. The price is not negotiable. Start with something most fans don't realize. In the NBA, superstars don't really negotiate their salary. Unlike most sports, the NBA caps what any individual player can earn. There's a maximum, and that maximum is a percentage of the salary cap. Roughly speaking, a player with fewer than 7 years in the league can earn about 25% of the cap. 7 to 9 years, 30%. 10 years or more, 35%. Read those numbers again because there's something hiding in them. The tiers aren't based on how good you are. They're based on how long you've been in the league. A 23-year-old superstar putting up MVP numbers is legally forbidden from earning what a 32-year-old borderline all-star is entitled to. The pay scale doesn't measure production. It measures birthdays. Then, in 2017, the league added the final ingredient, the designated veteran extension, what everyone calls the Supermax. If a veteran hits certain awards criteria, his own team can offer him the 35% tier plus extra years that nobody else can match. It was designed with good intentions. Small market teams had just watched stars leave for super teams, and the league wanted to hand them a weapon to keep their franchise players home. What they actually built was a very expensive trap. Part 2. Two curves that don't match. Here's the heart of it. 2 lines on a graph. The first line is the aging curve. Across basketball history, players tend to peak somewhere around ages 25 to 27. Athleticism, explosiveness, and durability start eroding in the late 20s. By 31 or 32, the decline is usually visible. And for guards who depend on speed, it can arrive fast and without warning. The second line is the pay curve. Because of those service time tiers, a player's maximum salary keeps rising the longer he's in the league. Highest tier, longest contracts, biggest raises, all unlocked at roughly ages 28 to 30. Now put the 2 lines on the same chart. The moment a player becomes eligible for the most money in basketball is, on average, right around the moment he starts getting worse. That's the mistake. Not one bad signing. A structural mismatch baked into the rulebook. Teams aren't buying a player's future, they're paying a premium for his past, and these deals run 4 and 5 years. So a franchise commits its entire financial life to ages 29, 30, 31, 32. The exact stretch where basketball history says the floor is most likely to fall out. The cautionary tales write themselves. Russell Westbrook signed a Supermax with Oklahoma City in 2017, coming off an MVP season, and within a few years had been traded repeatedly as teams passed the contract around like a hot potato. John Wall signed one in Washington and then ruptured his Achilles playing a handful of games for the team that paid him. Bradley Beal signed one of the largest contracts in league history this year with a no-trade clause and was moved before it was halfway done. None of those were stupid signings at the time. Every one of them was defensible. That's what makes it structural. Part 3. Why $200 million isn't $200 million. Now here's where it stops being expensive and starts being catastrophic, Because that $200 million contract does not cost $200 million. It costs far more in three separate ways. First, the tax. Teams over the luxury tax line pay a penalty on every dollar of salary, and that penalty escalates the deeper you go. For a team already above the line, adding salary can cost multiple dollars in tax for every dollar paid. A big contract on a contending team can effectively double or triple in real cost. Second, the new penalties. The most recent labor agreement introduced hard restrictions, the so-called aprons, for the highest spending teams. Cross those thresholds and you don't just pay more money, you lose tools. The ability to combine salaries and trades, to use certain exceptions, to sign buyout players. Draft picks can get frozen or pushed to the back of the round. The league didn't just make overspending expensive, it made it disabling. Third, and this is the one that actually kills franchises, negative trade value. A great player on a fair contract is an asset. That same player declining on a max deal with 3 years left is a liability. To move him, you don't get picks back. You attach picks to convince someone to take him. So a bad contract charges you twice. Once in money, once in the future assets you burn to escape it. That's how a single signing can quietly erase 5 years of a franchise's life. Part 4. So why do they keep doing it? Which brings us to the real question. If every executive in the league knows all of this, and they do, they have entire departments modeling it. Why does it happen every single summer? 3 reasons. 1. The alternative is often worse. In basketball, more than any other sport, star players are the whole game. You cannot win a title with depth. If your only route to contention is the player you already have, then overpay him and give up are frequently the same list of 2 options. And only one of them sells tickets. 2. Cap space is a myth. Fans imagine that letting a star walk gives you a pile of money to spend better. In practice, elite free agents almost never reach the open market. Their own teams can offer more money and more years. So the team that lets its star leave doesn't get a better star. It gets a worse one at a similar price, or nothing at all. 3. The incentives aren't aligned with the truth. A general manager who overpays his star buys 3 more years of relevance, a happy owner, and a fan base that isn't rioting. A general manager who lets him leave for nothing is usually fired that season, even when he was right. Being correct too early is indistinguishable from being incompetent. So the mistake keeps happening. Not because people are foolish, but because the rational move for each individual is the destructive move for the franchise. Part 5. The teams that escaped. But some teams do escape, and how they do it is instructive. The trick isn't refusing to pay stars, it's paying the right age. A Supermax handed to a 27-year-old MVP is one of the best deals in sports. You're buying the peak years at a legally capped price. Denver paying Nikola Jokic, Milwaukee paying Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those contracts bought championships. Same rulebook, opposite outcome. The disasters cluster on the other side of the curve. Deals signed for what a player has already been. And then there's the nuclear option. Oklahoma City, holding 2 enormous veteran contracts, chose to sell instead of pay, trading its stars for an almost comical pile of draft picks, absorbing several ugly seasons, and rebuilding around players still years away from their first big raise. It was humiliating in the moment, it also worked, because that's the real lesson buried in the cap sheet. The cheapest superstar in the NBA is a young one, and the only way to have one is to be brave enough, or patient enough, to be bad first. So the next time you see that photograph, the suit, the jersey, the handshake, the number with all the zeros, look at one thing. Not the player's stats, not his highlights, his age. Because the NBA has built a system where the price of a player is set by how long he's been around, and his value is set by how much he has left. Those 2 things move in opposite directions, and every summer, some team stands at the exact point where the lines cross, smiles for the camera, and signs anyway. They know. They almost always know. They just don't have a better option. And that, more than any bad contract, is the real trap. Every summer, another superstar gets paid. Every summer, another team believes it'll be different. And every summer, the NBA reminds us that the biggest gamble isn't taking the shot. It's signing the contract. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more basketball stories, and I'll see you next time.